I was just curious if you'd like to know the secrets of the ones who really know what they're really doing, or if you just want to learn the techniques.
The former, please.
The former. So you can be informed about what it is like to learn how to install strategies. Because that is, as far as I can tell, the master skill of NLP is learning how to install strategies. And as this year we've got 3 months on each topic, we've got the next 3 months to go through all the tiny little steps in order to be able to install strategies. And I'm just really, really curious if that's the kind of thing that you might be interested in. And can you see yourself installing strategies elegantly? And can you hear what your voice tone sounds like when you learn how to use rhythm so that you can maintain a continuous motion all the way through, from the beginning all the way through to the end? Because this is one of the master skills of NLP. Because I guess you all know the difference between, "Well, this is me from New York," and "Hello, my name is Graham." And I assume you can hear the difference between those things. And that may be just the first step in order to be able to learn what it is that's really, really important about understanding what are the elements, so you can really feel what it's like when you have that strategy installed really deep all the way down. And also, I'm curious as to, does it smell right? So that's what I thought we would do for today, and I'm just curious if that's the kind of thing that you might be really deeply curious about. Or whether it's just something that you'd like to be able to see the big picture first, before you can dive into all the depths of it, and really start to hear what it sounds like, and start to get the secret. So I'll take that as a yes. There's always one that has to be on video. You didn't hear we are videoing this, did you? So the thing with, you all have intuitions, even though this seems like a meaningless sentence, it does kind of make sense in English. Curious green ideas sleep furiously. And the strategy bit is the bit where you start to understand the way that these are sequenced, or the order in which they appear. Because if I were to say ideas sleep furiously green, something inside would go, that doesn't sound quite right. So you already have these intuitions about the sequences within the language. It's just a matter of fine-tuning those sequences so that you can start to learn what order to put things in, and also to identify which are the elements that are combined together in order to be able to put them together in a way that makes meaning. So that you can start to discover the ways in which people start to make sense and understand of what it is that they're perceiving, and figure out the ways in which those perceptions work for them and the other kind. So you can re-engineer the other kind into perceptions that work for them in particular sequences, so that they can achieve the goals that they desire. That kind of makes sense. So one of the things that you might become really curious about is how do these things called verbs work? And what do they do in a sentence? Because they're kind of the things that create the action or the forward momentum. So you can start to become curious as how do you dig deeper into the structure of how verbs work, so that you can really understand someone's understanding, and the way that it feels when they see more clearly what it is that they're really looking for, so they can hear the sound of their voice on the outside and start to really, really notice what it sounds like, so that you can become an installer of strategies. Imagine having that on your business card. I am an installer of strategies. Or you could have conservatories. If you want to get the foundation really good, make sure we can see through the sides. Make sure the acoustics are just right so it sounds really good in there. And make sure that you use that special sensual kind of adhesive for the carpet so it smells really good. So, the first step then is to be able to... You all read the email, right? Kind of. So the first step is to identify. And the way that you can identify is how do the steps within a strategy work. And the things you might be curious about are, where do they start? And how do you know when you're done? And I'm sure you all remember that formula that was created by some great sage or madman, I'm not quite sure which. D like C, 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 E. The first place to start with strategies is to know that you believe is possible. So I'm guessing that some of you have learned something here at some time. Kind of. And I'm sure that the first step in that, at some point or other, is you start to believe it's possible. So you can become curious, how do you sequence your representations so that something becomes possible? Now for some people, seeing is believing. So you can see clearly what it is that you're looking for and seeking. For other people, it's more to do with it sounds like it's kind of possible. For others, it feels like this can be done. And for others, it kind of smells like it might be something that might be possible. Especially in the food industry. So the next step is get motivated. And the first step of a well-formed strategy in NLP, or the first pattern, is that it needs to be within the control of the person who's running the strategy. In other words, the performer is in the equation, to use the term from quantum physics. So if I say, I see a bright image of where I want to get to, I hear the sound of my voice as I'm moving towards it, I can feel the forward motion as I move towards it, and I can smell the sweet taste of success when I get there, that's different to, it's a bright picture. Because in one of them, I'm the actor who's doing the actions, and the other one, it's sort of there. So the first step is to check, is it within the control of the person who is, or within the world of the person who's running the strategy. The second step is to figure out what are the sensory representations, which I've just been demonstrating a little. And then the third step is, have you included the things that are not directly observable? Do you know the structure of the strategy, and do you know the syntax or the order in which it unfolds? So if I were to say the first time that you set out to learn something really amazing, how do you know when to begin? And there will be a when to it. How do you know that you're ready to start? Is another way of asking a similar kind of question. What is the first thing that you do? How do you know when you've really, really learned something? How do you know when you've achieved your goal of learning? Are ways that start to set out the direction and the strategy as it unfolds. So that's what we're going to get really curious about this evening, is what is the sequence of steps that this thing follows in order to be able to... Now I'm sure you all recall from your various training, the toe model.